This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
Welcome to today's Talk Business and Politics Daily. I'm Roby Brock. Glad to have you with us. Joined by John Brummett of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. As we always do at the first of the week, happy MLK Day to you.
And to you.
You have been on a tear lately over the last couple of days on your Twitter feed. You have talked about the Super Bowl, the Supreme Court, Hogs basketball, Senate President Jim Hendren, the governor. Are you just getting in like New Year's game shape, or have you had some things you've needed to get off your chest?
I've always got things to get off my chest, and 4 columns a week and 1 appearance with you. That just don't that doesn't cover it.
You got to have a Twitter too.
So yeah, but people keep engaging me. I mean, I had a protracted, kind of snarky Twitter debate with the President Pro Tem of the Senate, Senator Hendren, and we're kind of friendly, really, but you wouldn't know it by what was going on. I believe that was Saturday, or I don't know what day it was. And then one day the governor engaged me, and one national, I said, "Good to hear from you, Governor," and stood by my position. And the Super Bowl, I mean, there was some officiating and officiating snafus, and it's a major, not Super Bowl, the championship games. So yeah, and then there was the Supreme Court going to the inaugural. Justice Rhonda Wood tweeting nice things, supportive things seemingly about the governor. I took exception to that based on something I linked from the Arkansas Times, and then I got some pushback on that. So, but this is all part of the modern social dialogue and the universe of your political commentator in the modern age.
So if everybody would ignore you and not engage you, then your Twitter feed would be irrelevant.
I just go away. It's all about reaction. If I never, Twitter has this thing that alerts you to the notifications. If I never get a notification, I'll get bored. But I'm getting plenty of notifications.
All right. He just revealed his secret there for everybody.
Right.
Okay. Let's stay in state. Let's talk about Senator Bob Ballinger has proposed a bill to carve out exemptions for the minimum wage law that was just passed by voters. Democrats apparently will be unified in holding their votes against that push, but it's going to require a 2/3 vote. Do you think there's going to be enough Republicans that will go with the populist vote of the people, or do you think that the business-mindedness of Republicans allows that change to occur?
I'm told at a high level that there will be enough Republicans who will run from the very notion that they would undo the voters' decision, that that's just a loser. There will be some who support Ballinger's notion to undo what the voters did, but needing the 2/3, I'm reasonably assured that they're not likely to achieve it, because you get all the Democrats against it, and then a reasonable number of Republicans who simply want no part of it. The one way Republicans might mess up this hold they have on Arkansas is to start insulting and undoing the actions of the voters. I think there are enough practical-minded Republicans out there in leadership positions that that's not going to happen.
You don't see that happening?
Do not.
This week we are likely to see the start of the tax cut proposal debate. We are also likely to see the start of the reorganization of state government. Do you anticipate that there will be any problems with that? Where will the hang-ups be?
Well, procedurally, I have perhaps misrepresented a little bit here how easy it is simply to reorganize government. This is thousands of pages of proposed legislation.
You've got to go through the code where it references a particular agency that's going to change.
There's complexity there, and I remember I was at a place that sells agriculture products in rural Arkansas last year. Could have been tomatoes, could have been peaches, could have been okra, I'm not saying. But the people there were saying, you need to watch this, what the governor's trying to do on reorganizing state government, something about the plant board and agriculture.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, there was a big debacle in 2015.
I'm just saying, it's probably,
17.
I mean, it's a reasonably easy thing to do, but it's not a snap, because anytime that people are affected by some of these small commissions, and where they are organized or the level of their power or to whom they might have to answer starts to worry people. So it's not a snap. I think it's easier than the tax cut proposal, but it doesn't just fly through without any naysaying, because there will be, I think.
what happens with the 2.4, 5.9 plan. There'd be a push to at least have a conversation about the earned income tax credit as well.
The Democrats who don't have enough to, well, 9 would stop a 3/4 vote in the Senate.
Good in the Senate if you were unified.
If you were unified.
Yeah.
I don't know, because they still have not shown me a fix for this fact that a lot of people at the lower income levels are going to experience a tax rate increase on parts of their income. And even that.
And explain why that is for people that haven't followed this.
They're taking didn't I do this last week? You saying some people weren't watching?
Just saying.
Quickly, they're taking a tax system that has 16, I think, brackets and rates within them that, based on your, and we have marginal tax rates. The tax level of your income is taxed at this rate, then a higher rate here, and higher rate here. To take that and simplify, I hate the air quotes, I hate when I do that. Why do I do that? To simplify that, which is one of their intentions, and go to 2% on this part, and 4% on this part, and 5%, 5.9% on this part, gets the top rate down from 6.9 to 5.9, but along the way, some sections of income would actually be taxed at a higher rate. They say that's all taken care of by tripling the standard deduction. But then they said, well, not really. There's some folks out there doing itemization, and we've got a problem. This could be 10%, 200,000 of our taxpayers might actually have a higher tax bill out of this, and they would not be the ones at the high incomes. They've got to fix that. I have not heard what the fix is. That's complicated. Option A from the Task Force Commission, the one they don't want to do, it was their option, is to simply lower the top rate, which is what they want to do. But they can only lower it to 6.5, which would not make it the lowest in the region. So that is in a state of flux because of that complication. They will find a way to hold people, the governor has mentioned, just hold harmless. Whatever your effective tax rate was the last year.
You can keep your health insurance plan if you want to keep it.
Yeah,
you can keep your tax rate if you want to keep it.
They'll work it out, but it's sort of amusing that it seems like the easiest thing in the world for Republicans to do is to cut taxes. This is getting tricky here, and there will be complications on that.
Let's turn our attention to Washington, D.C. The shutdown continues. Over the weekend, President Trump lobbed what appears to be a non-starter out in terms of a compromise proposal. Even Senators John Bozeman and Tom Cotton said, I'm going to wait and see the details before I commit to this one way or the other. What do you think the eventual outcome is?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, do you know? Does anybody have any idea of the eventual outcome of this?
I do think that the eventual outcome is that the Senate and the House pass something that they can all agree on, and whether Trump's along with it or not, I don't know if they'll care. We'll get to that point.
Well, I know, but you just assume there that a majority of Republican senators will
It's going to get to that point when they start hearing from their constituents.
I see something different, and I've offended all my liberal supporters today. I think that the Democrats are getting a little smug. Pelosi's side has been at this point, is a little smug about this polling advantage that they have, because that's a fleeting thing, and this is a dynamic situation. And I think that simply refusing to negotiate, simply saying no, that's a non-starter, threatens to turn the tide of public sentiment on this, because the issue is fast becoming not the wall, not who's right or wrong on the wall, not who behaved poorly in the beginning. The point is fast becoming, and will quickly more become, who is more responsible for the fact that our police authorities and our law enforcement people are out there working without pay, and who is more responsible right now for the fact that all these people are furloughed and it's having an effect on their lives and on our economy. When it gets to that, Pelosi's going to have to come back, I think, and make some sort of modest negotiating concession, standard deal making, like Trump did the other. Now Trump's, just saying that's a non-starter, it's an opening gambit. In negotiations, you come back with a counter, and then you sit down and you work something out. The problem is as Democrats don't think they can trust anything that Trump says. That's why you bring in the Senate and McConnell and get something in writing.
Well, McConnell has stayed on the sidelines, though, so
but
he's
now here's what's happening.
Not engaged.
I just think right now, tactically, I think the Republicans are smarter. Trump has made what appears to be a concession, and he's going to let the Dreamers run around free for 3 years
What does
without.
Rush Limbaugh and Ann Coulter think of that?
See, Ann Coulter's already tweeted, we didn't vote for Jeb Bush. We voted.
Rush will be on the radio later today. We'll hear what he has to
See,
say.
I think that's good. I think at this point, both sides are going to have to offend their bases. Trump has made his opening gambit. Speaker Pelosi's going to have to offend some irrational liberals too. That's the only way this can ever work out. And you can't just cite polling taken last week and say, well, it's all going for us, because the attitudes change daily as this thing goes on unreasonably. So I think we need to try to have a standard negotiation, and it's going to be hard to work out. I mean, I think Democrats are going to have to give Trump some sum of money that his people can use for some sections of wall in certain places. I think so. I think he's going to have to do more than give 3 years of leniency to the Dreamers. Amnesty for the Dreamers, or 6 years, or something. But that's what negotiation is, and among sane, functional people, that's what you do. And the public is going to increasingly demand it, because this thing has gone on too long and too unreasonably. That's my reading on it.
Key phrase there: sane, rational people, right?
Well, yes, that's what we need. And we clearly don't have it in a president.
That's what we have here at this table, though.
Well, I hope so. I think we could work this out.
I think you and I could. Why don't we close the show out here, and we'll go figure it out, and we'll put something out on Twitter.
Well, each of us would be unhappy with some of it and okay with some of it. That's how these things work. After all, the Electoral College put this man in as president. There are more Republican senators than Democratic. The Democrats have the House. At some point, the people deserve for them to work something out to their co-equal dissatisfaction. That's what we need here, is co-equal dissatisfaction.
You need to
because
copyright that phrase.
if you want to beat Donald Trump, there are two ways. Point to Robert Mueller's report and say, look here, when it comes out, depending on what it says, or beat him in 2020 in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, which you couldn't do 2 or 3 years ago. That's just my reading on it, and I'm sorry that those who say you never compromise with Trump are mad at me, but they're wrong in my opinion.
That's why we have you here, to share your opinion. He's John Brummett of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Always good to have you with us.
Very good to be with you.
Take care. That's all for today's program. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Roby Brock. We will see you next time.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America, moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie.
Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.
I did.
You'll find us at the end of a lot of long country roads, covering over 60% of the great state of Arkansas. Our 17 electric distribution cooperatives are working day and night to provide reliable, affordable power to over 500,000 homes, farms, and businesses, just like yours. The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas, your local energy partners.